doing it that way.
Okay, the stream has started.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. So I think we're good.
Twitch has accepted the stream.
Are you able to see us, Mike?
No, but it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
YouTube has accepted the stream.
Thank you. Oh, and you're going to put it on the Peace Center Facebook page, right?
Not right now, but hold on.
Yeah, when you can. It doesn't matter when.
Waiting for Facebook to accept the stream. Then they'll give me a link, and then I can put it on the page.
Wonderful.
Facebook has accepted the stream.
Great.
Okay, I'll take it from here. I'll put it on the page. You can start whenever you want.
Thank you.
You want me to start the timer?
Sure, you can start it. Welcome to Talking Peace with the Western New York Peace Center, being recorded here at Think Twice Radio in the home of the future, also the home of our friend and producer, Richard Wicca. Thank you, Richard. And thank you, too, to our friends at WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative radio station. That's WBNY 91.3 FM coming out of Buff State University. Thank you to our friends at Buff State. And when I think about thankfulness, I do think about our indigenous friends, our BIPOC friends, people who have been oppressed and endured so much hardship and violence. We're, of course, on Haudenosaunee land here, stolen or taken through trickery and violence. And yet the Haudenosaunee and also Black and brown people are very full of thankfulness in so many ways. And certainly for the Haudenosaunee, they start off all their events with a Ganonyo or a Thanksgiving address where they, just say they're thankful for the people there, the people who made it possible, for Mother Earth, for giving us everything that we need for a good life here, and to take care of us and keeping us, going in so many ways, to all of the plants, the medicinal and nutritional plants and knowers of the plants, to the animals, all the wonderful swimming, flying, four-legged creatures of all kinds of creatures and beings on this earth, for all of the formations here, all the beauty here, and also this in the sky world. Of course, there's Brother Sun and Grandmother Moon and all the sky world, and the teachers and leaders and the Creator that really, has made it all possible, and that all the love that animates it all. So when they do that, then they say Nyahweh, which is just the thankfulness. It's a lot like Ashe. So that they would say Nyahweh, and then the people say Nyo. So Nyahweh.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. So this is part 2 of a very important series here that we're calling Taking It to the Street. So it's really about people power, getting out in the street, gathering, petitioning our government for the redress of grievances, and a lot of getting together in the street, in the square, in the public square, which is actually a circle. But anyway, and so I'm very excited to have, we had two great guests last week, and unfortunately we didn't get these 2 great guests on last week, so we're lucky enough to have them this week. So we have Mike Smith. Mike, thank you for coming.
Of course, it's a pleasure and an honor. And let me just want to start by thanking Western New York Peace Center, Rich for the platform, everybody who's involved, the board, you, Vicky, Sam,
please.
And everybody who's lifting up these important conversations and doing the work to advocate on behalf of the community.
Well,
it's always been near and dear.
Oh, I'm grateful to you. And I want to say, Mike, I know you did so much with Juneteenth, and we'll be talking about Juneteenth. the Save Our Streets program. Is that what it's called too, that you're supervising?
Yes, ma'am. So it's the Save Our Streets Task Force, and essentially that's a group of city departments and community-based organizations, all with services that pertain to the social determinants of health. So my work is to deploy those services into the community and do what we call restorative civic interventions on behalf of the community members, and then to build capacity and develop the relationship so that those community members can then advocate and assist others who might need those same services.
Wow.
It's been the most rewarding work I've done in my life so far.
Well, I know you're doing it. You're making it happen, and we're grateful. And Sameria, Muharareni. I'm sorry, I got it right the first time before. Muharareni.
Yes.
I know, I got it. Muharareni. Muharareni.
Yes.
Such a beautiful name. Do you know what it means, Muharareni?
I don't, but from what his dad told me, it means like golden child or something like that.
Okay. Well, we'll find out some more when you find out some more. So this is Sameria, or I know you go by Sam. I still like to call you Sameria.
That's okay.
So Sameria is a board member of the Western New York Peace Center, secretary to the board, and just a wonderful, also sometime host of Talking Peace, this same platform that we're on right now, video radio show, and just a wonderful, hardworking person,
thank
you know, an activist, and we're grateful to have you here, Sameria.
Thank you, Vicki. I'm glad to be back with Talking Peace radio shows.
Yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but now that you're back, you'll get the bug again. You know? Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will. So anyway, so let us go around just like a talking circle kind of thing. First to you, Mike, and then Sameria, and then me, on first the values. So when we think about taking it to the streets, and we can talk about what that means or what it means to us as we go on, but taking to the streets, when we think of that, what values do you think of as being really important in that conversation of taking it to the streets? Mike?
So when I think of the values associated with taking it to the streets, I think of the right that every person has to live a fulfilling, peaceful, and peaceful life, despite what conditions or circumstances they might come from. And I see that evident in a lot of the work that you do, the work that Sam does, a lot of our partners throughout the city. It's essentially suggesting that I want to do unto others what I would have them do unto me. And it's treating everybody with love and respect, and making things equitable. So if some people need more help, making sure that they have access to that help, and to do that, and to give gratefully and to give gladly. And I don't know if we're gonna take this down a political road, but I see now a bit of a divide with regard to the values in our macro culture, our American macro culture, where I see the real Americans, the people who are protesting some of the destructive decisions being made. I see the people standing up for the immigrant community, the LGBTQ plus community, and even earlier today, I unfortunately witnessed some people being pulled out of the Capitol who were protesting the cuts to Medicaid. A lot of disabled individuals went there because, with that cut, we're talking about 10 million plus Americans losing coverage, and over the next 10 years. And to see that, I see the real Americans, and then I see a sect of Americans who are advocating for this violent and destructive action. And that, I think, kind of highlights the divide in values. How can you love family and support family if we're pulling a 20-year migrant away from her family and sending her to a country she hasn't been to in decades? How are we pro-veterans when we're pulling their rights? How are we? I think values are evident based on your actions, and
right.
And I know I'm getting rambling, so I'll pass
No.
it back.
No, but you're so right. So those values of caring for each other, of treating people with respect, seeing that people's needs are met, those are the values that bring people out in the street when they're not being. So thank you for that. No, you were right on about all of that. And Sameria?
Yeah, like just to echo what Mike said, I think what I'm hearing is just like speaking up for those who are marginalized and being the voice for those who don't have those rights or those rights are being taken from them. So just exercising justice when we see injustice, and showing that we care by speaking up and advocating, and taking it to the streets.
Right. Well, tell it. You're putting it so beautifully. So I want to agree. You're definitely. I'm on the same page there. The one thing I'd say, it's about standing up for what we do believe in, and also standing against what we don't believe in, what we see happening. So I always want to bring up Reverend Dr. King really every chance I get, especially since the Western New York Peace Center was one of the first of Dr. King's clergy and laity concerned chapters. It was one of the first. But anyway, so Reverend Dr. King said, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love. So that unarmed truth, the truth that first of all, our government has not been a government by and for all the people in the way that it wants to be or says it wants to be, or what we talk about being. That is clearly didn't happen from go.
Right.
And then it's continued not to happen, and with some ebbs and flows where it's improving, it's backsliding. Right now we have things are going so much better and so much worse in so many ways. There's a lot of resistance. But anyway, to me, it's about the petitioning the government for the redress of grievances, which is right up there in the same breath as trying to help people understand the truth of what's going on. Because if people are not listening to actual news, but they're hearing a lot of propaganda and other kinds of news that purports to be news, but it's actually misleading, it's misinformation and disinformation, purposeful, and even lies. And I don't get into
Come on,
lies,
hey, Nikki, that's
lies
an
upon
incredible
lies.
point.
And then also love, because it's love that drives people and that makes people have that courage, that heart, because that's the word, cœur, the French word heart, and that's what gives people the courage and the determination, because we love each other. I love that a chant that we did and we do. There's a chant that we did plenty on Monday about Iran. 1, we are the people. 2, we love each other. 3, we will not let them wreck our planet. So that truth and love, those are the values, and standing up, for each other and for the redress of grievances of where our government is failing us and failing others.
Vicky, I just want to lift up the point you made about informing people about what's actually going on, because I feel like there's cultural bubbles, whereas we get that confirmation bias, Right. So if I already am full of xenophobia or racism, and I want to vilify a certain population, I wouldn't have to look far to find a community that could corroborate that with false facts and false history, and then I'm less inclined to learn more about said culture, said people, and I really appreciate that point that you made about just informing people of things that they don't know, because we're essentially products of our environment, right? So if you've grown up in that space, you need to be exposed to the rest in order to correct that behavior. I really appreciated that point.
Right. Well, thank you. And especially because it's the thing about the way the media is now. Because, of course, media has been morphing and changing. And it's the big media giants that are allied with all the other power and power mongering and warmongering groups the oligarchy. Let me just put it that way. And all the concentration of economic and political power. So I don't want to get too far into that. But so anyways, because I'll start telling you about the thesis I wrote about Kenya.
I'm here for it.
I'll just say this.
You wrote a thesis on Kenya?
Yeah, I wrote
wow.
a thesis on Kenya, and the thing was on rent seeking in LDC import regimes, which basically is the extra benefit that people get when there's a limited supply of importing things, import licenses. So then they get one, but because there's only a few, it's really worth a lot more than what they're paying or getting for it. And so then I did all my research, and then when I wrote it up, I said, well, what I found was that the politically powerful people were giving it to their brothers-in-law. So, economic and political power was totally, overlapping and tied in this small little group. P.S., just like in the United States, so it's nothing new. I mean, it's nothing new if you go through the ages. Look at Louis XIV, or all the excesses when, the economic and political power is concentrated in the hands of a few. And so that's what we didn't want with a democracy, but we still had it. But now we are having it even more as they're just, don't get me started on the theft, this great corruption that is happening in this country, this huge, look over there at Iran so that I can keep, grabbing all the, giving contracts to my friends, all the giving tax breaks to the billionaires, and yeah.
Do you think that's what the media is trying to feed us, is like this information about Iran while there's other things happening that's more important? Do you think they're trying to distract us?
Well, first of all, the media is mostly, I think that the government is trying to distract us, and the media is the little lapdog.
Gotcha.
I think, and I forget there was a term for it, but just when you can continue to inundate people with new stories, stories get buried.
Right.
And so like distractions are easy. So we're focused on Iran, but we don't know what's going on with our Social Security right now.
Right.
That was the focus 2 weeks ago. So I hear what you're both saying. It's there's a game being played right now to kind of keep our attention on certain things so that other things are happening,
Absolutely. So as far as taking it to the streets, so I want to, because we're looking at like the environment in which this is happening and why it's happening, right? So and that is totally connected to the fact of it. That's totally connected to why we had arguably, and I think realistically, 10,000 people coming out. Hopefully that will work itself out. Arguably, we had about 10,000 people on April 5th, which was the day we had the Hands Off rally. That was huge. That was so big that we went all the way up to Chippewa and walked and all the way back to the square. And when we got back into the square for the march, there were people who were just leaving the square to make that march. That's how many people we had. So I think 10,000 was a realistic estimate.
10,000, and the Hands Off rally was regards to?
Well, hands off of our benefits, our Social Securities. This was the one, and it was part of 50-51, and it was a national day of action on that they
April
called
5th.
Hands Off on April 5th, and then we the No Kings rally, which we didn't have a permit for, which was right during Juneteenth. So I'm hoping that Mike can join us again, because I really felt good about the fact that we made the decision to, when they were saying, well, the No Kings rally was happening on the 14th, and that's the first day of Juneteenth in Buffalo. So we were going to have the march, and we were going to have, the parade.
A lot going on.
Yeah, so we didn't want to do it that day. And meanwhile, our peacekeeping, trained peacekeeping people volunteered to help out with the Juneteenth, to help with the marshalling or the whatever, help keep everything on the up
So
and
not
up.
everyone would have been able to make it.
Right, and so that's why it went until just very shortly before, maybe a week or two before the 14th, when some people were saying, you really have to have this thing on the 14th. There are so many people who want to go. It's a national thing and everything else. And so then we made the decision to have it. And so it was Power to the People, and the Western New York Peace Center led the thing, spread the word, invited people and everything. Didn't have a permit, led the discussion or whatever. I don't think we had anything much in the way of, loudspeaker. We had something for a loudspeaker.
So if there's no permit, what are the consequences of that? There's none?
It didn't really matter.
Okay.
It didn't really matter because first of all, because we have the right to be there. We have the right to petition our government for the redress of grievances. It's right in the Constitution. So that's what we're doing. And if we're not blocking anything, we're not breaking any laws, we have the right to do that and to bring our signs. Now, the police, for a while, sometimes they've felt that they could make us keep moving. They could do that, and then we could do that. Sometimes there's been questions about whether we...
Where was the hands-off protest?
It was
on June
right
14th?
in Niagara Square.
It was in Niagara Square, okay.
Yeah, and most of the protests have been in Niagara Square.
Because I know that the police were kind of scattered June 14th.
Right.
Or that Saturday.
They're busy.
Because the Allentown Festival, and then there's the Juneteenth parade. There's just a lot happening on that day, so.
Well, and we did do, our own peacekeeping, to make sure that people were, respecting the traffic laws and everything. We weren't breaking any laws or anything. So I was just saying how great it was that we were able to really do both, have our cake and eat it too. So support Juneteenth and then have the No Kings rally as well. And thank you for coming too. Right now we can't hear you yet. Here, try again.
How about now?
Now, yes. So go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was just I was agreeing with everything you guys were saying. Especially with the no permit necessary when we're just congregating. That's a constitutional right. And I also want to lift up the amazing team that assisted with Juneteenth. Chrissy, Peter, they are a phenomenal team, and just their willingness to serve. That was a long day for all of us. They were there bright and early, bright and early with us. It was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I mean, I feel like I really missed out on a good time, but as you hear me coughing, I was still sick at that point, and people were telling me, don't come. So and also they were on the show last week. So that's where we tried to get you on the show last week. But it's just, it was, I mean, you're a busy man. You can only do what you can do. So
I had the chance to walk in the Juneteenth parade for the first time.
Oh, good.
And it was a really good experience. I would definitely want to do it next year. And I noticed that the Juneteenth flag, the colors are similar to the Palestinian colors of their flag.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting. Like, those colors do represent something. The red, the green, and the black, and the white. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
so that flag, Sam, is the Pan-African flag that you saw, the red, black, and green.
Yeah.
Right.
And the green representing the land, the red representing the blood that was spilled on the land, and the black representing the people of the land. So it's a powerful message, popularized by Marcus Garvey. The actual Juneteenth flag is I can send it to you. It's a very different flag, but
so there's two different. That's the Pan-African flag. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
but go ahead, Vicki. You were saying?
Well, I was just going to say, as far as the Pan-African flag, I mean, this I'm wearing just because so many Palestinians are dying, and it doesn't mean that Jewish people are bad or that they haven't suffered
Right.
too. Jewish people have suffered for the millennia
Right.
and are totally traumatized, as are the people of Palestine and Gaza who are fully traumatized. But the thing is, they are dying. They are dying by the thousands, by the hundreds. It may be hundreds of thousands. We don't even know how many people are in the rubble. We don't even know how many people are going to die of starvation because they're not getting clean water, food, any of their needs met. But anyway, what I was going to say about just because of the flag is what happened was when the Israelis would not let the Palestinians fly their own flag, then they started wearing the watermelon because it has all the same colors of their flag. So that's where the watermelon comes from. I have to say, I had a Black Lives Matter shirt on, and I was wearing the watermelon, and a neighbor of mine said, boy, that's kind of racist. You know, I just have to tell you, I thought, I can't miss a good joke, you know.
The irony. Yeah.
But anyway, so the thing is, all of our issues are connected. So when we're taking it to the street like that, you know, a lot of times there's some particular thing. Like when you asked me how the hands off, I can't even remember exactly what was the particular part of it. I know in this latest one that we did on Saturday, that was it was the Buffalo United Coalition that we are very much a part of, the Western New York Peace Center, Power to the People, and all, and you know the Area Labor Federation, and all the amount of union support has just been beautiful, wonderful. I've never worked so much with the labor people until recently. With this recent gyration, you know, it's just been a wonderful thing because the power to the people. I mean, that's about people power.
Amen.
So the labor people they're very much involved. But anyway, what I was going to say is this last one, the focus was for freedom and liberation. So the focus was on the 4 freedoms that were the freedom of speech and expression, of freedom of worship, and freedom from want and freedom from fear. And those were the freedoms that Franklin Delano Roosevelt talked about. So that was the focus. So, and then this last one that we did on Monday, the focus was on Iran and the illegal acts. Now, here's Trump, some crazy people saying he deserves a peace prize when he's the one who torpedoed the original Iran nuclear deal that was working, and then who just okayed Bibi Netanyahu illegally attacking them. Then we illegally attacked them. You know, that is total aggression, totally illegal under international law. It's illegal in so many ways, also illegal under domestic law. So we did a whole show on that. Now, actually, we're going to do a show on that next week. So I don't want to get too far into that topic. But
and to be honest, I think they pulled that nomination from him because of the escalation of the conflict in Iran. I think that was the last thing I read on it yesterday. I don't know if something's changed, but
first of all,
I heard that they pulled the Nobel Peace Prize nomination.
Well, first of all, I don't know who would have nominated him. Only people talking BS, because the only people who can nominate people for a Nobel Peace Prize, unless I'm mistaken, are the people who have already received a Nobel Peace Prize. They're the ones who nominate.
Yeah, it's like a council, right, of recipients or something along those lines.
Something like that. I mean, I know that there are people who, you know, they have a committee or whatever they have, and they also have prior winners. So I think that prior winners are allowed to nominate people. But I don't think just anybody who's just talking BS, you know, they can, you know, I mean, actually some people, you know, do deserve to be nominated. Lots of people deserve to be nominated who don't get it. But I'm going to say, just because somebody says, people say a lot of crazy stuff.
I saw in the news that Iran might also block off the Strait of, I forget the name. Hormuz, yeah. And that might cause our oil prices to skyrocket. So we don't know if they might not directly attack us, but it might be like an indirect aggression.
Well, they did fight back. But however, I mean, you just look at who is the aggressor, and that is what determines what's going on. So Iran does have the right to protect itself, does have the right to fight back. I mean, I believe in nonviolence. However, that doesn't mean, I mean, let's just look at what's happening, which is that we, as usual, the greatest purveyor of violence in the world is my own government. And right up there with them and getting all kinds of exceptionality is Israel. But anyway, I just want to say it's all connected because it's about whose rights, when we think about the evils that Reverend Dr. King talked about, they really, that was war and, violence, right? That, racism and bigotry, right? And poverty or materialism, economic injustice. So those three evils, he called them the triple evils. And he talked about the environment, but we weren't quite at the point to realize just how badly things were getting polluted, that climate catastrophe was on the way. It was just the inklings of that. So you add those four. Those four things are so completely connected. So who do we attack? We don't attack white countries. We don't attack Caucasian countries. We attack black, brown countries. We attack other countries. We also supply. We're the biggest arms merchants in the world by far, and we spend more on our military. We spend 42% of the entire world's military expenditures are ours. So we have 900 military bases. I think Russia has maybe 9. And anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off into that thing, but just our issues are all connected. So when we come out en masse like that, sometimes it's very specific, but a lot of times the other things come in because they're all connected, that the same people are marginalized. And then what happens is the people who are most vulnerable get marginalized and targeted first, but then they keep right on targeting people. Because that's what's going to happen. Because, I mean, it's the Nazi playbook. That's what's happening. Everything, the lies, all the things about Goebbels said about lying, the bigger the lie, the more they believe
Goebbels.
it. Just keep saying it over and over. That's what they do. So anyway, let's...
just real quick.
Please.
It was, I read, I think it was last year, and I can't remember what book it was, but it was a powerful statement about how real power is controlling the narrative. It's not about truth. So you can do a lot of the worst things, and if you repeat the lie that justifies the thing, that lie then becomes truth. And I kind of see that playbook not with just what you mentioned, but also with kind of how Trump will double down on the lie. You know what I mean? And triple down and quadruple down.
Yes. Yes.
Let's see how that works.
So let's go around a little bit about the things that are coming up, because I think that's one thing. I mean, I'm going to say when we think about Juneteenth and the hands off and the no kings and the freedom and liberation and the no war in Iran, those have all been very recent, very big. Oh, I didn't even mention the Women's March, which was another one.
I was going to ask you about that. How did that go?
That was great. We had about 2,000 people and no permit. Wow. And, a lot of cooperation all around, a very good turnout, a really great program that was actually in the library because we connected with the library. Then we had an open mic outside. So we had about 300, we had the 300 people who were able to fit in the auditorium at the library. And then we had the open mic outside. And then we had the Ring of Knowledge, too.
Wow.
And then
2,000 people is amazing. That was a good turnout.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people are coming out because they're really scared, because our democracy, whatever semblance of a democracy that we have, is eroding fast. There's rampant ignoring of the judges' determinations, then the judges are also making bad determinations because they're all Trump-picked judges that are on that Supreme Court, and they just decided that he can just take anybody and just send them anywhere. They said that's okay.
I think we're witnessing firsthand just how fragile our democracy really is. It's like, oh, we think that we're safe for years and years and watch little erosions happen here and there. But this past administration has been incredible with just how many rights can be taken away from us and quickly, and how many decisions can be made without the input from the general populace. It's I'm realizing firsthand just how fragile this system has been, and that's why I think, to speak to your point, Vicky, and you're saying, I think that's why a lot of people are coming out now. It's like, okay, it's up to me to protect the system. It's up to me to go out there and speak on this, because no one's going to do it otherwise, and we'll just keep losing rights. So it's an important time. It's an important time in history for us to have these conversations and to be in these spaces.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen so much Democratic backsliding as I did, like, in my whole entire lifetime, with just like with no due process, no consideration of the rule of law, and it blows my mind. But I do see that we are expressing our First Amendment rights by gathering people, mass mobilization, speaking up, and advocating. That's one of the things that he cannot take away at all. And if he does, then I don't know what's left.
Well, people, it's got to be that we have the courage. And that's been the encouraging part. Even I can't help saying it, because the courage that's in the word encourage, help develop that heart and that courage, right? When we encourage somebody. Well, what's encouraging is when you see the amount of courage that people have. People on TV, the comedians are the best ones, really, for telling it like it is, telling it just like it is. Also, people on the street, and actually, as one of the guys who was helping with the planning, he said, when my daughters, I don't remember what grade they're in, but elementary school, when they have whatever they had, a Juneteenth celebration or whatever they had, or even when this was back, it was, Reverend Dr. King's birthday or whatever it was, I think it was, but whatever it was, that he said that celebration of that is DEI, that is celebrating, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is courage. That takes courage, because they're trying to deep six all of that. They're threatening people. They're saying, that's an illegal thing and all of that. When every time an elementary school has, has a Juneteenth celebration, that's civil resistance. That's courage. That's activism. And actually, so when we're talking about things that are coming up, so let me just tell a couple things that are coming up. One is the Elbows Up rally, which is a solidarity rally with Canada. So it's going to be at 11 a.m. It's going to be on July 5th. That's a Saturday. And 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Freedom Park, the park formerly known as Broderick Park, at the foot of Ferry, and that'll be great. Foot of Ferry, and Freedom Park, and then from 8 to sunset at Terrapin Point in Niagara Falls. So there'll be people on both sides of the border, and then our Indigenous brothers and sisters are especially being invited. I do believe there'll be some drumming so that people can hear each other across the river. So that's coming up. And then another thing is, I think the League of Women Voters are doing something about democracy and voting and the threats to our voting and how to get around them. I know women's just changing their name to a married name. If they don't have their birth certificate in their married name, which of course they won't, then what happens to their right to vote? Well, here we are while we're losing, lost control of our own bodies in a lot of places. Certainly don't have that. So there's just so much So anyway, so that is going to be an info session in Niagara Square on July 17th from 5 to 7, I believe. So that all of these things should be on the Western New York Peace Center calendar, and if they're not now, they will be soon at WNYPC.org. The other one that I really want to mention is our camp, because Camp Peaceprints with 14 from July 14th to 25th is a 2-week day camp for 8 to 13-year-olds with teenage youth assistants, and foster grandparents and the whole, beloved community. Small camp, good camp. But one of the things the kids will be doing is picking their own global call to action project, and then they're going to have a rally in the square. So we're organizing the rally, but they're going to organize the content. So, I mean, in other words, I'll send out a press release that we'll see how much they give me on the press release. But anyway, there'll be, hopefully there'll be some press there for them. But they're going to have their own, they're going to pick the topic and the music. They're going to create the music and the message and the artwork and the visuals. These 8 to 13-year-olds will do, with some help from the teenagers and the adults too.
It's amazing that we're developing young activists at the age of 8 to 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
8 to 13.
8 to 13, yes, and it's just giving them that courage that we were speaking about, that empowerment that they need to speak up for themselves.
And so that's going to be, I didn't say the date, it's July 23rd. Wednesday, July 23rd, and I think it'll be at 11:30 a.m. It'll be, probably half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe not. We'll just see. There's a lot to be determined, and to be determined by them. So I couldn't tell you the name of it. Camp Peaceprints Rally.
So Vicky, the actual camp part, that's an everyday up until the rally?
Well, it's every day from July 14th to the 25th, from 10 to 3, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day at Unity Church. We're using Unity Church, which is just basically across the street from the Western New York Peace Center office. But anyway,
so let me make a plug real quick. So I know a lot of people are having a hard time finding childcare. I think this is an incredible opportunity to not only have childcare, but to teach kids about advocacy and community advocacy. To Sam's point, encouraging them to take a leadership role at that age is only going to create powerful leaders in the future and confident adults. So I encourage everybody to put your kids in this camp.
So so just go to WNYPC.org or go to some of our social media sites, and you'll see the flyer, because we're trying to spread it everywhere. We do still have spots left, but people are notorious for procrastinating, registering. So I want to encourage people to register their kids. I was just saying to our wonderful intern Alexica today, it's kind of a seesaw. So, first we're like, we don't have hardly that many kids, and then all of a sudden we get a flood more kids. And I know there are some people who said, I'm registering, but they haven't done it yet. So it's just,
What about the leaders? How many are the leaders dependent upon how many kids you guys have in the program?
I think we're pretty well staffed up. So that was really the first thing I was working on before I even worried too much about how many kids we have, is we had to have the people to support them. So I think we do. I think we have good people. Some of them are we have four people, including me. I didn't include myself, that are going to be there the whole time. But then we have lots of people coming in and out, people with special skills and everything. I didn't even say, we have 2 field trips. One of them is to some very special activities that we have at the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Museum, or Heritage Center, I should say, with Saladin Allah, who, if you don't know him, you'll be glad to know him. He is just a wonderful, wonderful. I mean, he's the scion, offspring of Josiah Henson, who crossed, who made his own freedom journey to Canada. And that's a wonderful story in itself. So he is just the person, and he's got a great staff there, and he's been doing activism with kids in Niagara Falls. So these kids are going to meet with other youth activists, 4 different other youth activist groups that are going to come and talk to them at different times about their particular project, what they've learned, what was easy, what wasn't easy, whatever they want to talk about, whatever they want to learn from these other activists about what they do, how they did it, what they think about it. And then we do go swimming 4 times too. So, yeah, it's fun.
I'm excited to see the outcome of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
well,
Will there be like a final wrap up? How can we participate in the camp?
This is how people can help. Is first of all, if you want to help us on Tuesday and Thursday bringing kids to and from swimming, that might be one thing. So get in touch with me about that. Or come, especially the big one is come to the rally. Come to the rally on Wednesday, July 23rd at, that's why I say 11:30 a.m. is what I'm thinking that it'll be. So, I have people who are better judges of time than I have. But I think that's going to be the best time, and that's the time I've been telling people. So I think that it's going to have to be then. So people are welcome to come, and we've done this before, but not in this way. But we did have the kids do a rally before a couple times. Once in Niagara Square, once when we were at St. Margaret's, we did one on a hurdle. But anyway, we've been doing this camp for 18 years now. So this is, yeah. So there's been some different, but it's always been about peaceful conflict resolution, social justice, and this time it's about youth activism more than anything. But all the rest of it, self-care for activists is going to be in there. Self-care, meditation and yoga and all that. That's all in there too.
There's another rally that we forgot to mention.
Yes.
Mike, you actually sent it to me. It was a virtual rally about AmeriCorps and the funding cuts to AmeriCorps. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, but I know that the AmeriCorps members are gathering together and pushing back against these cuts, and some of them they've filed lawsuits. Even in our local community, and there has been some wins in those lawsuits, from what I heard. So that's a good thing. But
yes,
I just wanted to mention that because I'm an AmeriCorps and Mike was an AmeriCorps alum. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, I love AmeriCorps. I love AmeriCorps, the Peace Corps, all of that. That's the service that we need, not everybody in the military building up some big empire and then, people are saying, well, it's not so bad, or sometimes if you have a good job in the military, and there are jobs of people, and a lot of them, they want to build schools and everything, but what are they actually doing? And building a school behind a gun is not very helpful. But the other thing is that it's also empire building, because they have their own dental school and everything, and they have their own, it doesn't have to be under the military. Let's just have people can serve. AmeriCorps is wonderful. So if I knew about that, we could have publicized it. So anyway, and just to say what the other things that I know are coming down the pike, I know that the Dyke March is coming down the pike, and that's soon. I believe that might even be on, this is why they were supposed to give me the information. I don't have it, and I looked for it.
I think it was
I think it's on, isn't it?
The 17th or the 20th?
No, the 17th is the Legal Women Voters thing. See, it might be the 6th.
In your email, you said it was the 5th, July 5th. Oh, no, that's elbows
No,
up.
That's elbows
You
up.
did not mention it in your
Because I
email.
don't know.
Yeah.
That's why. So anyway, so for people who do know, spread the word because it's important. And we were supposed to have somebody from the Dyke March on this call with us as well to just talk about it and let us know so we do know because we want to know. We need to support each other. Certainly trans people, LGBTQ people have been so oppressed, back to who's marginalized. Trans people especially, absolutely just such a target. So it's very, very much, when injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Everywhere.
So on Streambox, viewers on Streambox, somebody put something on our feed. So I was just hoping it might be the information about the Dyke March that we were trying to get, but I don't think it is. So anyway, the other thing I want to say is I know we're going to have a big march on or gathering that's Buffalo United Coalition, which is this BUC or Buffalo United Coalition that did April 5th, that did, this latest thing, the Freedom and Liberation. We're doing another one on August 16th. August 16th. So that's just a little ways ahead, So there's so much going on. I mean, there's so much going on, and I need to mention that Latin American Solidarity Committee has two different things about the ICE. ICE is doing just horrific things, kidnapping people, abducting people. So this coming Monday, when this is airing, on Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m., come on out to Canisius University, the Math and Science Room, which is right at the point where Maine and Jefferson meet, in that little point there. That
The
building,
health science building.
The health. Well, it's math science.
Oh, it's math and science.
Science building.
Oh, okay.
It's the math and science building, but you're right. That's the building.
We just called it health science. I didn't know it was math. Yeah.
Well, you went there, so you should know.
Yeah, we always called it health science building. I didn't know if it
Really?
was math and science. I think because Dr.
Well, Terry
Bisson,
needs
he's a math teacher. He does teach in the health
maybe he's
science.
spreading wrong information. I don't know.
Because he's the math teacher, so he's like, I work in this building, so it's the math and science building.
Oh, okay.
Maybe,
Well,
I don't know.
whatever it is, it's that building there at the corner. And 7 o'clock, it'll be a great thing with J.L. Schumacher, who's been doing. I mean, it's horrific. They just incarcerated a 20-year-old with sickle cell anemia because he stole like $90 worth of underwear. Because he needed it. Stole $90 worth of underwear, and now he is in the Batavia detention facility, really in danger because he has a serious health condition,
Oh my God.
and their health care is not. It's just not. It's terrible. So that's a terrible situation. So come on out Monday the 30th, 7 p.m. to the lounge in the Health Science Math building of Canisius University, and then the following last Monday, then there's another one about ICE and farm workers. So that's going to be July 28th at 7 p.m. in that same spot.
Okay.
So it's a coffee house. So there's coffee and tea and like for some cookies or something like that. So what I want to hear from you too, what would you like people to remember about taking it to the streets?
Ooh, you know what? But before I answer that question,
Sure.
I do want to say to all of our listeners, health is wealth. Sam and I do a lot of work in the community regarding improving health outcomes.
Yes.
And there's a lot of health fairs going on throughout the city.
Yes.
Throughout the summer. And I just encourage anyone listening, go out and get checked. There are things going on that you might not know. And just want to make sure that you guys go out, go to these events, get checked out, engage with the partners that are there, the organizations that are there. Also, Best Self is doing a work around reducing the increasing suicide rates among Black youth. A close friend of mine, Nicole Brown, over at Best Self, is leading that program.
Really?
So you guys call 311 if you want information on where these events are happening.
Wonderful.
And I'm sure there's one coming your way. So sorry, I had to throw that in
No,
there.
no, don't be sorry. No, I'm glad. So 311, that was going to be my question. Where do they find out when and what is happening? So definitely, no, it's so important. There's also the Igniting Health Conference, and that's coming in September, I think. So but you're right, it's so important. And that's, we need to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, because also this is such a stressful time. And certainly back to the social determinants of health, as you said, it's very clear that people suffer more, don't have the healthiest food, or, in the racism in the environmental racism, where the pollution is, where the nuclear waste is, all of it. So, and again, so it's the most vulnerable people or the marginalized people or and it's about race, it's about income, it's about, social status.
Social determinants. And Vicky, it's incredible because I'm getting a lot of the data surrounding this. There'll be two neighboring communities, like literally neighboring communities with a life expectancy difference of 12 years, and it's and these are things that people, when you're living in a space, you don't realize that. And so to your point, it's the vulnerable communities that are suffering the worst from these health disparities. So to echo your sentiment, please everybody just take it, just go and get checked out.
Yeah. Thank you. So 311, people should call. And Sameria, what would you say?
I would
people
say
should know.
I think I don't have any events to plug, but I do want to speak on the rise in suicide rates and the rise of loneliness in our country. I think that it can be countered by being in community and talking with other people and trying to understand what they're going through and their perspectives on life. And then also being specifically engaged requires just being volunteer with a local organization and just find ways to be involved and be around people and be in nature, just to get yourself out of those silos that we built, those bubbles, those cultural bubbles,
Right.
Hey, man. Social. One of the social determinants is social and community context, Sam. So what you're mentioning, that literally allows people to live longer, having that social community context. So as she said, everybody, go meet your neighbor, go meet somebody you haven't known, have a conversation, and get to know them, because we're more alike than we are different.
Yes. Yes. We have to bridge those, and we're stronger. We're more alike than we are different, and we're also stronger and better through our differences. That's why when we have a team, so people with different perspectives, different skills, different everything, that we can learn from each other and share with each other, and stronger together is no joke. No joke.
Amen.
So, and we do need each other. We're social animals. I mean, we're all in this together.
We are.
That's right.
Yeah.
We are. Well, I want to say I am so grateful to both of you. It's been wonderful to have you on, both of you on the show. It's been such a
back.
yes. Oh, again and again. Sameria might be hosting that show though. So you've got all our numbers, and you've got lots of other numbers. Plus, I could give you some numbers.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
few numbers in this phone. But anyway, yeah. So definitely. Well, I want to say I couldn't say enough about how grateful I am for both of you. You're beautiful.
I'm grateful for you too.
You're kind, loving, and wisdom that you are sharing, and all of what you're doing. So this is Talking Peace. We're so grateful for you both, and this is Talking Peace, and together we've been talking peace in truth and love. So That's a wrap. Yeah. I would hit fade to black, but I don't want to lose you. So I just want to say it's so great to have you. That was such a great show. And I know Chrissy and Peter wanted to be on the show with you. They did. But Sameria is going to do
I haven't
some
met
shows.
Chrissy. I haven't met Chrissy and Peter yet.
Well, you have to.
They were
and you
part of
will.
the Juneteenth committee
they
that
were.
made that happen. Okay.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
just-
no, yeah, they were amazing. They were basically peacekeepers and marshals that
Wow.
day, so they were doing like double duty. It was incredible.
Yep. Well, we're all in this together, but I know you weren't feeling well, so we're going to let you go.
Yes. Thanks for coming,
Thank
Mike.
you
It was
so
nice seeing
much.
you.
I love you guys.